This is the Chris and Kyle show. I am clearly very excited for this with my weird voice I just made. That's Chris.
Hey.
And I'm Kyle. And today we are doing our top 5 list for promising directors.
Yeah, you seem a little bit more high-pitched.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why I came out like
And
that.
we also like just recorded too, so it's just...
So the thing is, like, you have to change your mindset when performing.
Okay.
No, I'm just
Is that it?
No. I'm actually excited.
Or you're just kind of excited?
I'm actually excited. So I came up with this idea like last week while, I don't remember why. And I was like, hey, let's do this. And then we were like, okay, what's the criteria?
Right.
So let's talk about what it takes to make it on this list and what excludes you from the list.
All right. So mine, very first thing that I tried to come up with, which really isn't like, I don't know, it's not even that like exclusive, or it's a very obvious criteria, right? It's directors that have only made like 1 or 2 movies, but their best work is ahead of them.
I don't know if I specifically did the 1 or 2 thing, but I think at least less than 4 is generally what I try to stick to.
Right. And this is explicitly directing.
Yes.
Directing
no writing,
those movies.
Nothing else matters.
They can have been a writer before.
Sure.
Right.
Which I think might be someone on your list.
Maybe a few people on my list.
Yeah.
Maybe a few people on my list. So some of the other criterias, the one that you came up with was that they can't have been nominated for an Oscar in directing.
Correct.
Right.
But you could have been nominated for screenwriting.
There was an obvious, there's obvious people that were like, this doesn't fit the intentions.
So I had this trouble literally
an
an hour ago before we recorded. I was having a crisis of conscience of like the spirit of this discussion.
Right.
And so full disclosure, I had Ryan Coogler #1 on my list as the most promising director, and who specifically met the criteria of I'm most excited for their future works. But I just couldn't in good conscience put him on this list because he's too accomplished.
Right.
He's done too much.
A really, probably the predominant example that we thought of was Ben Affleck.
Affleck. So I have a list of 2 well-known.
Right.
It includes Ryan Coogler, Taika Waititi, Ryan Johnson, Edgar Wright, Matt Reeves, Ben Affleck, Doug Liman. These are all guys that could have made up onto my list potentially. Or at least were in my honorable mention list that I was then like, no, I can't have you on there. Right. So I moved them into this too well-known part of the discussion. But they still deserve to be mentioned because they're great. Yeah. And I'm really excited about the stuff they're going to make. Right. But they're too well-known to be most promising directors.
So we did our best to try and follow that criteria. But I said to Kyle that if he did find someone that sort of broke that criteria, that still met the intention of what he thought was a promising director, then just fucking roll with it. We're creating our own.
Do you want to say some honorable mentions beforehand, or do you want to save them for after?
Let's save them for after.
Okay, cool.
Let's save them for after. What I do want to talk about. Yeah. So this is a really cool idea, and I enjoyed it, but I sort of immediately recognized the danger that we might have here
of looking like idiots.
No, not looking.
I mean,
like
we
idiots.
risk that every time the mics.
I only really have one risky one, one that's kind of that's sort of a weird decision, but I'm going with it because I didn't want to just have.
I tried to be a little bit predictive too. I tried to find some people that are all not very well known that I think have a chance of really becoming something.
Right. But the danger that we mostly have here is that we might just have the exact same fucking list.
It's possible, but I specifically kept a few people off that I figured you would have.
Right.
Specifically, the person I know is going to be your #1.
Right.
Who I will co-sign as very promising and excited for their work. Right. We may be doing a spoiler episode next week on their most recent project. Yeah, so I tried to keep you in mind when I was making my list of trying to not have crossover too.
Right. So what's the over under here on crossover? I'm going to guess 2.
I'm going to say the over under is placed at 1.5, and I'm going to take the under.
Really?
I really tried to make sure I would avoid you.
Now,
I tried really hard.
I'll add in this stipulation. I don't exactly just have 5.
Oh, so you're pulling a me?
Yes, kind of. So I have
the reason I'm taking the 1.5 is because I think we might be talking about the same thing right now of not exactly having 5, but it's 5.
Okay.
Perhaps a duo?
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I'm gonna. So I know the one that you're talking about. We're gonna have that crossover, but I think there might be one or two more.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. We'll see.
We'll see. Do you want to start or do you want me to go first?
I'll start because I have a 5A, 5B, and a 2A, 2B.
Oh, so you really pulled a Kyle.
Yeah.
I have a top 5 list of 7.
I have a top 7. And so I
was sweating it out.
And there are 2 separate reasons why
that might raise the crossover.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's like sort of another thing that you have to be aware of. So there's 2 separate reasons as why I have the sort of addendums here.
Okay.
The 5A, 5B. So for 5A, 5B, this one is the most risky, I think. Like he's the most like he's digging himself out of a hole right now.
Okay.
But he's someone that we both have really liked his previous work.
Okay.
But he also made something garbage right after it.
Okay.
And he's had a lot of shit outside of his movie quality that has gone down. And that's Josh Trank.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of weird, right? Kind of
Wow.
a weird pick.
Yeah, that's a crazy pick.
Yeah. Very
we both
strange.
love Chronicle.
Now, yeah. So
Fantastic Four is complete trash.
Right. Josh Trank, director of Chronicle, which we both love, one of my favorite movies of all time, and then Fantastic Four, which was garbage.
Complete trash.
Now,
but famously horrid situation through the whole thing.
Yeah. But apparently, like, so he was kept out of the editing room. He was kicked out, but a lot of it was because he wasn't agreeing with Miles Teller, and there was a
He apparently really mistreated Kate Mara on set too. There was
Right.
rumors about that, which is shitty.
Which is shitty. Now, the only reason that I'm including him on this list is obviously Chronicle. I really enjoyed Chronicle. The reason that I'm putting him on this list is because he has an upcoming work that I think could be good.
Okay.
Could also be really bad, but we'll see. I didn't want to include just nothing but like heavy hitters. You know what I mean? I wanted to kind of go out on the limb.
I feel like being a heavy hitter almost pulls you out of this a little bit.
Right. And being a heavy hitter pulls you out of the conversation. But I also like want to talk about something that like maybe people aren't talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Josh Trank has a movie that's coming out called Fonzo.
Okay.
And I'll read the synopsis for you. The 47-year-old Al Capone, after 10 years in prison, starts suffering from dementia and comes to be haunted by his violent past.
Is there any cast connected?
Yeah. So,
the way you said that.
A little bit of Linda Cardellini. You know who that is?
Okay.
So she was in Green Book. She played Velma in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, she's Hawkeye's wife.
Matt Dillon. Kyle MacLachlan. Kyle MacLachlan. And oh my god, I don't have it in my notes here.
I'm looking it up right now.
But
keep talking.
I'm like almost positive.
Oh, I have that on my watch list on IMDb already.
Al Capone is going to be played by
oh my god,
motherfucking Tom Hardy.
Hell yes.
So, when I saw that in his upcoming works, I was like, okay.
Oh, that's Kyle MacLachlan, that guy.
Yeah, yeah. He's what was he in? He was in Showgirls. He was the main character in Showgirls, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I wanted to include that. Do you want me to go right into my 5A? It's going to be on your list.
Is that your 5A or for your 5B?
So that is my 5B. My riskiest.
Josh Trank is your wild card. Josh Trank is your wild card.
Josh Trank is my wild card.
Yeah.
He has a movie coming out because he has a movie coming out called Fonzo.
So before you dive into your
starring Tom Hardy as Al Capone.
Before you dive into your 5A, I should have done this before. This was bad hosting out of me.
Right.
Part of the reason I'm super excited about this list is because I don't feel fully qualified to talk about it. I don't really know what makes good directing. I feel like you have a little bit more insight into something like this. You've actually made a couple things as a director.
Right.
Like, what is it that you base these things
What's my
on?
criteria?
Like what makes a good director?
Oh man, I mean, so this is like a really hard thing, and it's something that you can very easily just talk out of your ass about. But like, I would say that the like very noticeable things, things that are apparent when you're watching something, are things like pacing, your characters perform, your acting, your performances that you get.
That's a big one for me.
That is a huge one. And especially like, I don't know about you. I have a lot of writer directors. I think I have a few. Yeah. I exclusively have writer directors. Other than my 5B.
I'm close to that. I don't know if I'm exactly that, but I'm close to that.
Other than my 5B, which is Josh Trank.
So there's a level of
it's
auteurism.
Exclusively writer-directors. Yeah. So, and those are usually my favorite.
So, I was going to say my criteria is a weird word, but performance is a huge thing. Right. If they can consistently get good performances out of actors, that's a big part of it for me. Pacing, I didn't think about that, but makes sense.
Yeah.
I think just a general like consistency of tone throughout a project. And shoot, I had another one. I forgot it. Oh, well, whatever. Maybe it'll come to me. But yeah, I was like, I don't watch a movie and go like, I don't see like certain cuts and shots and be like, oh man, the directing here is they're really good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'll notice like a really beautiful, like landscape shot because that's what it's for.
Right.
Like I was watching Little Woods the other day and there's just this scene of them driving across the Pacific Northwest with this incredible sunset. And it's this wide shot and it's all it is the truck moving through the shot and it's fucking gorgeous. And you're like, you notice those because they're it's like a piece of art.
Right.
But other things like I don't notice as much, I don't think.
Yeah. And the other like problem with trying to diagnose whether something's well directed or not is that like there could just be maybe they're just working with a kick-ass cinematographer.
Yeah.
Maybe the writing is so good and that's what like really what you're reading. Maybe
so it's tough. It's tough to do, but I think when you start seeing consistency over projects,
True.
It's a big sign.
Which is another reason why Josh Trank is a very out on the limb.
He's a wild card. What's your 5A?
Our 5A is, I have a hard time believing that these guys aren't going to fucking blow up.
Okay, so they're way higher on my list than you.
Okay, yeah.
The Safdie Brothers?
The Safdie Brothers are my 5A.
They're my number 3. Okay. Sorry, they're my number 2.
Okay.
Because I changed
Which is completely fair.
Googler.
Like, these guys could be your number 1. And
the Safdie Brothers, they made a movie called Good Times starring Robert Pattinson and blew up last year for the film Uncut Gems, which to me, several Oscar robs going on.
Yes.
To me.
Yes.
Adam Sandler, incredible in the movie. The writing, sick. The directing, sick. The whole atmosphere, like they're a duo that when I watch their movies, I can tell that it's their stamp on the movies.
Did you go back and watch Good Time?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, good.
After I saw Uncut Gems.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Uncut Gems I think is better than Good
I
Time.
agree.
But Good Time is very good. I'm not on Pete Davidson's level of this is the greatest movie of all
You
time.
shouldn't want to ask it.
But I thought it was really, really great movie. Robert Pattinson is like disgusting in that movie. He's horrible.
Yeah.
But it's a great performance. He like starts making out with like a 14-year-old girl just to use her.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
Very weird. Very weird.
But Uncut Gems is fucking great.
And you can also sort of see like the seeds of style within Good Time.
So
that you
that's
also
another thing
see
I wanted to ask you as we went
Uncut
through
Gems.
this. Is there something you can put your hands on that's very unique about these people as filmmakers? And I think they're the most unique people on my list of like this. You're like, I could watch a movie and then be like, that was a Safdie Brothers movie.
Okay.
And a lot of it is sensory overload.
Right.
The way they use sound and music and dialogue and colors and movement of the camera, all to just make you feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
When I saw Uncut Gems in the movie theater, I was literally sweating.
Yeah.
Because it's such an experience.
Right.
Which you finally saw it like 2 days ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we finally watched it. We could do a fucking spoiler
Great
episode on
fucking
it. It's
movie.
amazing. It's amazing.
Great fucking
we're
movie,
we're gonna do our best to not spoil any of these fucking works.
This is how I win.
We're gonna do our best here.
Adam Sandler, man.
I would say like a few of their, if we're going through their directing style, right? Obviously their movies are very tense, very focused on crime. They also have a huge quality of cinema verite to them.
I don't know what that means.
So essentially like it essentially means like truthful cinema, right?
Okay.
So like, and this is like a quality that you saw with like a lot of neo-realistic films.
So does this mean that like they're not telling fairy tales? Like the consequences of the things going on are real or as real as can be?
Don't think of it as much with the story as much with the execution of the story itself.
Gotcha.
Right? So it like sure, like when you're a lot of movies that are like cinema verite, right? Like a lot of Italian neo-realism, it deals with situations that are realistic, like they're not speculative fiction. But they also don't work with real actors often.
Yeah, they use a lot of real people.
Safdie Brothers use a lot of like non-actors.
Yeah, famously in Uncut Gems, a huge portion of the cast. Like, if there's a delivery guy, he's a real delivery guy.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think the two guys at the pawn shop
right.
are real pawn guys.
Yeah,
like
they're not fucking actors.
Yeah, but they're good in the movie.
Right. Like, real sets, like on location.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right, and like there's an authentic quality to their dialogue that's like, it's not overly written. It just seems like that the camera is just shooting something. And
That's
it's like,
really happening. Yeah, that's cool.
And I would say the Safdie Brothers just nailed that really perfectly, and still are able to keep like a really tight structure to their films. Like you said, like when you watched Uncut Gems, you're fucking sweating.
Yeah.
Like, and every moment leads to the next. The causality of their films is fucking perfect. You know, like even though that they're able to have these films that breathe and, you know, have this like element of realism to them, and they exist in their environment really well, they are still tightly structured films story-wise.
Yeah, Good Time gets in and out. Like, I think it's like, I don't know if it crosses 2 hours or not. Like, just the way they keep it down.
Yeah. But there isn't a lot of fat. And you don't normally see that with, you know, movies that like have that quality to them.
Yeah. And I think something that really stands out from Uncut Gems to me especially is their ability to subvert their own style to really hammer a moment home. So, like I said before, like the sound and the music and the overlapping dialogue of people arguing and the buzzers going off in the building and just all these things that are overwhelming your senses. Yeah. Then they hit home this moment with Adam Sandler and Idina Menzel when they have the argument, and it's completely silent and it's just them. And it just hits that moment hits so much harder because it feels so important. Right. Yeah, they're very. Yeah, I think they're great.
And that's just like another example of pacing that you can see that is pretty apparent when it comes to directors. And it's something that like, I don't know, it seems so obvious, you know, to just be like, okay, we're gonna go completely silent here, even though like everything's super fast paced and everything like that. But good directors know how to pace the mood as well as the rhythms of a story. Yeah.
So that's your 5.
So that is my 5A.
Yep.
The reason that I have the Safdie Brothers as my 5A is because I knew that you were going to have them higher on your list.
They're number 2
and I knew that, like,
Josh and Benny Safdie.
Josh and Benny Safdie.
Benny, solid actor too.
Yes, he was
solid actor
in Good Time.
He's in Good Time as the brother. Yeah. All right, my number 5.
Okay.
Which I adjusted my list. I took 2 people off of it like 30 minutes ago because of they're too famous.
Late edition.
So Ryan Coogler and Taika Waititi were on my list.
Okay.
So this guy slid in. Travis Knight, director of Kubo and the Two Strings and the much better than it had any right to be Bumblebee.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, I've not seen Bumblebee.
That's so okay. I'm a little... I wish... So Travis Knight comes from an expansive animation background. Yeah. A lot of stop motion stuff like Paranorman and movies like that, kind of Tim Burton-esque movies. That really comes through in Kubo and the Two Strings. It's like if Tim Burton wasn't as weird as he is, like kind of energy. Kubo's a great movie.
Right.
Bumblebee, yeah, like Bumblebee is just way better than it has any right to be. Like, you know what I mean? You hear there's a Bumblebee spinoff and you're like, why? Then you watch the movie and you're like, wow, this is full of heart. Haley Steinfeld is good in everything she's in. But yeah, like I think that's my big thing with him. He seems to have a real heart to his films between those two. His upcoming movie, I'm not super excited about it. I'm like, it's The $6 Billion Man, a remake of The $6 Million Man, starring Mark Wahlberg. Okay. It seems like it might just be another Mark Wahlberg action movie. Not that that's bad, but I'd like to see, more personal seeming things from him. But I love the 2 movies he's made, and I look forward to more stuff from him. You've seen Kubo, right?
I've seen Kubo,
but not Bumblebee. Okay. Also, I like having some animation people. That's its own dragon to slay, directing an animated movie, I feel like.
Right.
All right, let's jump to your 4.
Yeah, my 4. This has a potential for crossover here.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay.
Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham is number 1 on my list.
Nailed it.
I thought I was gonna get around that one with you for some
No.
reason. I thought you might forget him.
No, I told you there's going to be some crossover here, dude.
That's okay.
Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham is number 1 on my list.
He's number 4 on mine. I was worried about but I couldn't not risk not talking about him.
Yeah.
His only previous work directing wise is 8th Grade.
8th Grade.
Right. And he's done, he's directed some comedy specials, his own comedy specials, as well as Chris Rock's comedy special that's on Netflix, I believe. We both fucking love 8th Grade.
Yeah. 8th Grade is
for
fantastic,
obvious reasons. Just like we were talking about with Uncut Gems, a lot of some snubbiness going on with the Oscars and in 8th Grade.
Yeah.
Bo Burnham is someone
to get that many good performances out of kids is crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
And to do it as a first-time director, to do it on your own screenplay, and to do it at fucking, he's our age.
Yeah.
You know, he's fucking 26 years old or whatever. Like, how many people fucking make that good of a movie when they're at that age?
Not many.
Him, Spielberg.
Not many. I don't know. When did Kubrick get going? Pretty early?
No.
I don't know.
I think he was around for a while.
Yeah, he was around for a while, but I don't know when he started.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bo Burnham, number 1 on my list. The most disappointing thing about it, no upcoming directing jobs. He does have the film Surprising Young Woman coming out that he's in as an actor,
right?
Which I think looks really like a really interesting movie.
Yeah.
And he's making the music for a Sesame Street movie, which that's just throw another thing on top. Extremely musically gifted.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole basis of his stand-up is built around his music. Yeah.
That's the other danger where I didn't want to put him super high on my list because there's a potential that he would never direct a movie again, which would suck.
Yeah, it would be a huge bummer if he made that decision.
But I think everyone that I have ahead of Bo has previous or has upcoming works coming out.
Yeah.
Aside from one person.
The thing I really love about Bo Burnham, and I mean mostly all you can say it about is 8th Grade, but I think you can draw from his stand-up too and the things that he cares about as a creator. And I think honesty is like the number 1 thing from him.
Yeah.
That's what I love the most.
Yeah.
Like it burns through 8th Grade, just the realistic, honest look at being an 8th grader and using real kids as actors, not using 23-year-olds that are playing young kids.
I'll say that's another fucking stipulation that he has. You know, another element to his work all around that he has is fucking courage.
Yeah.
Like the courage to be himself and to also just be like, oh, I'm going to star this little girl that's never acted before and she's going to have acting.
She's
and
really good.
And she's really good and we're not going to put makeup on her and we're going to just fucking roll with this. And he made an amazing movie out of it.
Yeah, I love Bo Burnham. But Burnham. So you've taken half my list. Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
I told my number 4.
Worried about it.
My number 4. I don't know if you're gonna have this person. I hope not at this point. But I was trying to throw you a curveball from my angle. I don't think you expect me to put this person on the list. But I just feel like they're so good at what they do, and they're so obviously like an auteur-esque director that they need to be put on a list of most promising directors. That is Robert Eggers, director of The Witch and The Lighthouse.
I am glad that you're putting him on your list. It's not that I'm surprised. I don't have him on my list.
That's okay. I understand that. The main reason I put him on my list is because, one, The Lighthouse is a kick-ass movie. And his upcoming movie, The Northman, looks fucking sick.
I don't even know anything about the Northman.
So The Northman is, I don't think there's any cast attached to it. Let me double check and make sure. There is. Oh yeah, God. Okay, so it's just, the synopsis just says Viking revenge saga set in Iceland at the turn of the 10th century, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Bill Skarsgård, Willem Dafoe. I mean, let's get going. Come on.
Nice.
That sounds like a sick-ass movie.
Nice.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, who the fuck else on either of our lists is going to make a movie about 10th century Vikings? And you know it's going to look amazing.
Right.
You know it's going to be like grimy feeling. And, oh, come on. Come on. The Lighthouse is not a movie that I would traditionally really enjoy, but I loved it. Right? Did
you enjoy
really
it more
liked
than I did? You enjoyed it more than I did.
I really liked The Lighthouse.
And like it's someone who it's a movie that like is much more up my alley than yours.
Yeah, Willem is just so good, dude. Willem and Robert Pattinson are so good in that movie.
I'm really glad that you have him on your list. I don't like him because like I have certain guys like my 2A that I'm going to bring up pretty soon that are very much like within his wheelhouse, and I just think that they do it better.
Oh, okay, interesting. See, I feel like his stuff feels so unique, but maybe I just haven't seen the stuff that you're talking about. I don't know. I haven't even seen The Witch. I've only seen The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's just very obviously gifted with a camera, and he's like he makes crazy like references to art pieces through his shots and just really beautiful looking stuff.
It's really smart. He has really sophisticated work.
He might push the limit of like being too pretentious with his filmmaking.
Yeah.
But he steeps it in such cool like location and story that it works. You know what I mean?
And The Lighthouse does so. I mean, I'm not sure if you're going to watch The Witch or not, but if you do, like you might realize like there is. It's not as good. It's not as good as The Lighthouse, but it's also is at risk of being more pretentious than Lighthouse because it doesn't try to like rein you in at all. Like there's nothing to undercut its own like over seriousness. There's a lot of funny moments in Lighthouse.
Lighthouse is funny.
Yeah, that can switch up the pace, right, and switch up the tone a little bit to sort of keep you reined in, so it's not like completely running away from you, where you have this like completely, overly symbolic imagery and shit that's hard to keep up with. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad Robert Eggers.
He deserves to be in this conversation. Yeah. Okay, we're on to 3, but you already took my 1 and 2, so do your 3 and your 2s, and then I'll give you my 3 after that, and then you can do your 1.
Okay.
Let's get through your list here.
Okay, cool.
Because I don't think we're going to have crossover on my last one.
All right. So, yeah, I'll go through my 3 and my 2s. Okay. I don't know if you've ever seen one of this guy's movies. I think this was like the only guy that I'm like, oh, this is absolutely not going to be. Actually, yeah, I had a late edition. I knew that wasn't going to be on your list. But this guy for sure. And he was one of the first names that came into my brain when I thought about this episode. Derek Cianfrance. Or Cianfrance, I don't know. So his previous works include A Place Beyond the Pines.
Oh, okay.
And Blue Valentine.
Yeah.
Now there's he did come
2
out
movies
with,
that are on my list of movies to watch.
His most recent work I have not seen. I was trying to watch it before this episode, but it got fairly good reviews. It was, I think, A Place Between Oceans, A Light Between Oceans, something like that. But Derek Cianfrance. So he directed A Place Beyond the Pines and Blue Valentine, which I fucking love both of those movies. Like, you specifically, Kyle,
need to watch The Place Beyond the Pines. I know.
Place Beyond the Pines and Blue Valentine, dude. Both really good performances from Ryan Gosling, as well as like other people in the movie, in both movies.
The Light Between Oceans looks good too.
Yeah.
Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, Rachel Weisz.
Now, another reason why I included him on this list is he has a really exciting upcoming work. And it's called I Know This Much Is True, which is a miniseries that's coming out. And I'll give you the synopsis here. Middle-aged Dominic Birdsey recounts his troubled relationship with Thomas, his paranoid schizophrenic twin brother, and his efforts to get him released from an asylum. Right? So some of the cast here for this TV series is Catherine Hahn, Melissa Leo, Juliette Lewis, Imogen Poots, Rosie O'Donnell out of fucking nowhere off the top rope.
Yeah, that's weird.
Rosie O'Donnell, which I was really surprised about. And this guy named Philip Ettinger, who plays the young Thomas, as well as Dominic, because they're twin brothers. Right?
Oh, okay.
But the older actor that's playing the older version
I'm
of the
looking
twins,
at it right now.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
This just seems like something that I'm going to be fucking really into. I really like Derek. And it's just it seems like something that is very seeped in something that he would, and he's also another writer-director.
Always a risk for an actor, dude, taking the twin role, playing twins.
Yeah,
Mark Ruffalo, that could be fun. It's gonna be an HBO show.
Yep.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yep.
Hell yeah. What are your thoughts on more and more of these directors, really talented directors, moving to make miniseries in television. And stuff
Fucking
like that.
do it.
Yeah,
especially
agree.
if it's HBO, dude.
Yeah,
Why not?
I agree. I just feel like the stigma of television is the G League is gone.
Yeah, does that still
It's
exist?
just all one playing field
Does it
now.
still? Yeah,
I
don't think it still exists anymore.
Just make stuff in the format that fits it best.
Yeah, when you have Scorsese making fucking Netflix movies, like I don't think that the stigma of television still exists.
Yeah,
and if it does, it's with people who've been in the game for so long that they're probably not.
I understand maybe there's still like a network TV thing. You know, you're on network.
If you
TV.
make something for Lifetime, maybe. Yeah,
maybe.
I think it comes down to the
like
channel.
especially like miniseries and straight like streaming service originals and stuff like that. Yeah. Give it to me, baby. Give me whatever the format you think fits best for your story.
Right.
What are your twos? Your 2A and B.
So my 2B was a late edition.
Okay. And they jumped all the way to 2.
And they jumped all the way to 2 because I watched this person's most recent work.
Okay.
And then I went back and so like I was like, who the fuck is this person? And then I checked their previous work, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is supposed to be really good." I watched their previous work, and the previous work was even better than the thing that I really liked in the first place.
You were like, "Hey, watch this because you'll love Upgrade."
Okay, so Lee Whannell, I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. So he's an Australian director. He's been around the game for a while, but as a writer. So his most recent work is Invisible Man. I watched that a couple nights ago and fucking loved it. Invisible Man is something that like completely uses the genre elements and is able to tell a really human story and is able to share a really horrifying aspect of human nature. I don't know. It's just what was that quote? Robert. Fuck, I forgot who said it, but like he said that movies can be empathy machines, right?
Roger Ebert?
Yeah, there you go. So he said that movies are essentially machines for empathy, right? Invisible Man is essentially like one of the best depictions of an abusive relationship that I've ever seen. And it's so like, I don't know. It's so intuitive and it gives so much insight into like that kind of relationship that I thought that it was a female director at first.
Really?
I thought it was, and it was written and directed by Lee Whannell, and like Lee could like go either way gender wise. I was like, okay, this could be a woman.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and it's this guy.
It's Australian dude.
Is this Australian dude that essentially created Saw.
Yeah.
He was fucking friends with...
He's done a ton of horror work.
So he wrote Saw and was one of the guys... He was the guy that wasn't Cary Elwes or whatever his name is, the dude from Princess Bride. I can't pronounce that.
Elwes?
Elwes. Is it Elwes?
I don't know.
Is it Elwes?
I don't know.
Elwes. Elwes. God, fucking Princess Bride people are probably fucking coming through the screen right now.
Yeah, but Princess Bride is a fucking lit ass movie.
No, it's great. I like that movie a lot. I just can't pronounce that fucking actor's last name. So, Lee Whannell essentially wrote Saw and created that entire franchise. He was best friends with fucking James Wan, and then James Wan directed Saw.
Gotcha.
And then fucking James Wan blew up as a director.
Made Aquaman.
Lee Whannell has done some acting work, done a lot of writing.
Only 3 directing
only 3 directing projects. His first one was one of
Insidious Chapter 3.
Yeah, one of the it was a horror movie, right? And his last 2 were Invisible Man and the one he made before this, which is Upgrade. Now, Kyle,
I've upgraded.
Watch motherfucking Upgrade, dog. So
yeah, you watched this like 3 nights ago, and you like looked at me and you're like, you need to watch this fucking movie,
bro. Okay, so it's not gonna be your favorite movie. It's not gonna be your favorite movie, but there's gonna be certain scenes where you're like, holy shit.
So I've known this movie existed for a long time because the man who is made famous for being fake Tom Hardy is in it, and I see it on IMDb a lot. Yep. Like, what's that guy's name? Logan Marshall Green.
Yes, Logan Marshall.
He played he was in Prometheus,
Yes.
and that is where I dubbed him fake Tom Hardy.
Yeah, I don't think that like you're the only one that's dubbing him that though.
Yeah,
Like, he very much looks like Tom Hardy. He does a lot of Tom Hardy things on screen.
The thing is,
and it sucks because
nobody's
like,
Tom
he is
Hardy.
good.
Nobody's
it sucks
Tom
because
Hardy.
he is good. Logan Marshall, especially in this movie, man, he is good. But like, it does just suck that he looks so much like fucking Tom Hardy.
One of the best actors on planet
He was
Earth.
one of the best actors
and the
on
most
Earth.
physical presences on screen.
Yeah. So
this upcoming project though. He's making a remake of...
Now, okay, not only did I watch Invisible Man, was really fucking pleasantly surprised by it. So that is actually available right now. It's
one of those, you can rent it. It's in the movie theater, but you can rent it because of the
$20. Like, guys, do not be scared by that. Fucking me and my girlfriend, we were like, okay, this is essentially
have
just like
a
going to the
safe
movies.
get together of less than 6 people.
Right.
Split the price.
Exactly, split the price, and that's what me and
stay
Kate
6 feet apart.
We're like, fucking. This is essentially like going
$10
to the movies.
each. That's cheaper than going to the movies.
Totally fucking worth it. Loved Invisible Man.
I will say,
Track down Upgrade.
I will say, not super. I've heard Invisible Man is good from lots of different sources. I'm just not interested in it.
That's fine.
It's just the type of movie it is. That's going to be my separation from this guy. He seems very horror driven, but an Escape from New York remake.
Okay, so not only did this guy make Upgrade and Invisible Man, but he has an upcoming work coming out, Escape from motherfucking New York, dog. So he's remaking Escape from New York, and if you've seen Upgrade, I can totally fucking see how this is going to be a killer ass movie. Yeah, I'm a huge fucking fan of John Carpenter. There was a period from like 75 into the 80s that like he was just killing it for a decade. Yeah. Like fucking They Live, Halloween, one of the most fucking revolutionary horror movies of all time. And not only just The Thing, right?
Another of the most revolutionary horror movies of all time.
Right. And not only was John Carpenter fucking directing his own movies, he was writing, and he was also doing fucking scores for his own movies.
Yeah, that's dope.
Which is fucking sick. Crazy talented dude. So like, I'm not gonna
no cast attached. Who's gonna be Kurt Russell? Who's gonna be Jake the Snake Plissken?
Interesting, right? I can see a lot of people just like immediately casting this off to the side. Like, oh, why the fuck would you remake Escape from New York? It's a fucking classic. I grew up with Escape from New York. I grew up with fucking Escape from LA. I saw that movie fucking 12 times as a kid. Like, I really enjoy the original works. Fucking Lee Winnell, like everybody who's like kind of tentative. I'm fucking jumping in.
Yeah.
Head first.
So that's your late addition to
So
B?
that's my late addition.
Okay. What's your actual number 2?
Lee Winnell. So my actual number 2 is something that you would guess.
Oh, so based on who's left, I'm going to say it's Ari Aster.
Yeah, it is Ari Aster.
I specifically didn't include Ari Aster because I knew he'd be really high on your list, and because he just doesn't make the types of movies that I love.
Right.
Midsummer's great. Mm-hmm. It's an awesome movie. Yeah. I'm glad I saw it. It's not the type of movie I love.
Ari Aster is like the example that I often like, and it's unfair for me to do this, like when I'm to just blatantly compare two people's works like this, but like Ari Aster is kind of like he's who I wish Robert Eggers was, you know?
I can totally see what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I think they're both really good.
I think they're both really good, but I think that there's...
I think there's a little bit more character work being done in Midsummer than The Lighthouse.
Well, and I think that's the thing. I think that like there is like sort of like a disconnection, and I think that might also be a huge part of the sophistication of Robert Eggers' movies. That there's like a certain emotional quality that is lacking.
I'll say this. It feels to me like Ari Aster makes these movies that are very based in humanity and being a person and the experience of humanity and being an empathy machine.
Right.
It feels like Robert Eggers is telling mythological tales with The Lighthouse and what it seems like The Northman might be. So I think they're in different lanes, but they do have similarities.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's completely fair. Like obviously Robert Eggers is being incredible fucking successful with it, and people are really enjoying his stuff. But I don't think that is going to be my kind of like.
Yeah, that's totally makes sense.
You know, like I really enjoy, especially when people are utilizing something like horror, which is something that hasn't been a very sophisticated genre. But you got production houses like A24 coming out with just heavy hitters of people who are utilizing this
and
genre.
Neon, another production house,
in a sophisticated way that like really just demonstrates an aspect of humanity that it couldn't be done otherwise. And like I said with Invisible Man, how the idea of a woman being haunted by an invisible man is being used to put the audience into a situation in order to feel what it's like to be in an abusive relationship. Ari Aster does the same thing with Midsommar, with being in a breakup.
Midsommar is fucked up, man.
Midsommar is completely fucked up, and I love it. And
Florence Pugh.
And and for those that are not familiar with Hereditary or Midsommar, do not take this as a me saying that his work isn't sophisticated, because I think that it's both. There are layers to both movies that were you can watch them multiple times and start doing research on the movies, and you're like, oh, okay, there's layers to this thing that I didn't realize at first.
No upcoming work.
Which is
that's crazy. He's got to have something.
I think so.
He's cooking something.
So here's the weird thing. I've heard a lot of
comedy, baby.
That's the
comedy, baby. I'm hyped for that. Okay. If he makes a comedy, that's gonna be weird.
That's so, and that's a real thing. He's like I've sort of pigeonholed myself into being this sort of horror director, and he's like, I've never thought of myself that way. It's just kind of worked that. Yeah, it happened that way with my first two movies. But I kind of want to go into comedy and shit. And
spread your wings, baby. Do whatever you want.
Look, I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it. Am I worried? Yeah, sure. But I'm gonna see it.
Do it.
So you want to go into your?
So I'll give you
one?
my number 3.
Okay.
Even though that was your 2s, because we talked
about. You're de facto number 1.
Yeah. So I'm actually really excited to have her this late in the game, because this is probably the most predictive I'm being.
Okay.
She's only made one movie.
Okay.
And it came out last year. It is called Little Woods. I just watched it 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
This movie is fucking good.
Okay.
It stars Tessa Thompson and Lily James as sisters.
Right.
Tessa Thompson is almost done with her parole. She got caught running opiates over the border from Canada to the U.S. as she was a drug dealer.
Right.
But she's like the classic doing the wrong things for the right reasons character. A good turn from James Badge Dale as a character named Ian in this movie. It's a really personal movie. It's very much just, slice of life isn't the right term, but if you watched it the way it ends, you'd be like, oh, that's it? That's the end of the movie? There's almost not a full resolution of all of everything that's going on, and it leaves you to draw your own conclusions as to what happens to these women. Okay. Tessa Thompson's really good in it. It's beautiful. There's a lot of the shot I was talking about earlier, just using the Pacific Northwest as its own art piece in the movie. There's some really scary moments of directing. This has been done before, but she does it really well, where Tessa Thompson will be driving cross country and she'll do shots as if she were the car, as if the camera were the car, and all you see is the road.
Right.
And then she'll turn the headlights off because she doesn't want to get caught going near the border. And it's really scary as a viewer. You feel like you might crash the car.
Oh, okay.
Just really cool stuff like that. The reason I put her this high
as your number 1,
well, my number 3,
but my
de facto number 1. She is directing the upcoming Candyman remake. So,
and I've gone on record to say that there's some shit going on with that.
There's some cool looking stuff in that movie.
Yeah.
If Jordan Poole has a coaching tree, and she's in the coaching tree. That makes me excited.
Right.
If she's somebody that he puts his stamp
Wait, hold on. Jordan Poole or Jordan Peele?
Jordan Peele. Did I say Poole?
Yeah, you said Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's
a
player,
basketball player.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele, if he's somebody who says, I am one of the writers and I'm an executive producer on this movie, you are someone that I trust and feel is capable of taking this to the next level. That's a big seal of approval to me.
Right.
She also has a movie coming out called Sleeping with the Enemy, which she's writing and directing just like she did Little Woods.
Is that a remake of the Julia Roberts movie?
I have no idea. I didn't know that was a Julia Roberts movie.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah. Let me read the synopsis and tell you. Yes, it is apparently okay. So she's making a remake of the Julia Roberts movie "Sleeping with the Enemy."
Cool.
Young woman fakes her own death in an attempt to escape her nightmarish marriage. Ooh, something I think is really cool. So I was watching Little Woods, and I was like, "Who is this person? Where is she from?" Because this feels so almost
too good to be American.
True detective-y in the level of like how it feels its environment.
Oh, okay. Like the environment is a character.
It just
within itself.
Everyone feels like they're really from this place.
Yeah.
She's from Brooklyn. She's born and raised in New York City, and I was like, that's an incredible gift to be able to relocate yourself to make a movie that feels so real and personal like that. But I'm interested in seeing. But sorry, the point I'm getting at with that is the movie in no way is about the fact that Tessa Thompson is a black woman whose sister is a white woman. She's adopted. That's all they say. They say, I was adopted. That's it. It's never really part of the movie again.
Right.
And it's weird because Nia DaCosta is a young black woman. I think it's amazing that there are so many up and coming directors that are making movies that are about what it's like to be from a minority perspective, that what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be a black person, what it's like to be an Asian person, all these things. That's great. But isn't like the next step of that they just make movies that don't have to be about that? They're just movies about whatever they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like it's the...
That it's just, well, like, isn't like normalcy when it no matter matters what.
Right.
I don't want to, I'm not saying like you don't see color. That's always going to be a part of things. But just when you can make a movie with a young black woman starring a black woman where that isn't the central like tension of the movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was kind of refreshing.
Well, yeah, like having race or sexuality or whatever minority group, have that not be the complete and total focus. Like,
people are more than just that.
Right. Yeah. It's, yes, absolutely true. But like, that's also like sort of like an argument for people like being against.
Yeah, but fuck those people.
Yeah. Being like against like movies that are like, trying to push
but anyway, that just, now I wonder, like, will she take Sleeping with the Enemy and will that have black leads or something? Because that could be really interesting.
I don't
know. I didn't know it was a remake, so now I'm even more interested in it. I've never seen the original, obviously.
This gives me more confidence in Candyman too.
Yeah,
because like when I watched that trailer, I was like, "There's."
It actually makes like I saw the Candyman trailer and I was like, "It looks like a horror movie with some cool stuff." I just don't really care about horror movies.
There was a lot of stuff like with the cinematography that I saw in the trailer that I was like, "There's more going on with this than."
I think Yahya Abdul-Mateen is really good.
Yeah, we both like him and. Fucking when I found out that Jordan Peele was writing that
writing
movie.
it, not just produced by or whatever, but he's writing it.
Yeah.
So Nia DaCosta, a true newcomer on the scene, is my number 3. Yeah. We'll go. My number 2 is the Safdie Brothers. My number 1 is Bo Burnham. What is your number 1?
Okay, so my number 1 is really obvious for anybody that really knows me. Fucking Alex Garland, writer, director of Ex Machina and Annihilation.
And Devs.
He's someone who's been just like, what's his name? Lee Winnell. I was about to say Chase Winnell. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is. Been around as a writer
for a while. Like I think he got into filmmaking because he originally wrote a novel called The Beach. Or the novel that turned into The Beach with Leo DiCaprio. And then after that, he wrote the screenplays for 28 Days Later. He also wrote the screenplay for Dread.
Oh, that's right. Dread's a good movie.
Yeah.
Deserved a sequel. Carl Urban, shout out.
Dread's fucking dope. And you know how much I love Ex Machina. You know how much I love Annihilation. He does have one upcoming work, which is kind of not really upcoming because it's already made.
Upcoming spoiler episode on the Chris and Kyle show.
Very true. It's called Devs.
Finale this week. We will then. We haven't seen any of it yet. Full disclosure. We will be watching Devs.
Could be awful. We'll see.
I doubt it. Yeah. I doubt it's awful.
Yeah.
Alex Garland's a talented guy.
Yeah. No.
I love Ex Machina. There. I think Dread's great. I've never seen 28 Days Later. Didn't love Annihilation.
Okay.
Think it's just not for me kind of deal.
Okay.
I thought it was good, but like just not for me kind of situation.
Yeah. I didn't like it as much as Ex Machina.
Obviously, that's like your favorite movie of all time.
But like, I like the score so much more to Annihilation than I did Ex Machina.
Cool.
And there's just so
I
much
would
weird
I would
shit
probably
going on.
have Alex Garland on my list if
Yeah.
I didn't know he was going to be your number one pick. You know what I mean? I was like,
sure.
I know Chris will have him,
Yeah.
so I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Do you want to run down your list? Recap it?
Yeah. So do you want to go to? Let's do honorable mentions first.
Okay, sure.
Let's do honorable mentions first, and then we'll go.
Yeah,
to the list.
I'll run down this list
Mm-hmm.
of. I have a fuck ton of them. Olivia Wilde. You'll notice a running theme on my honorable mentions. A lot of actors who are just getting into directing. Olivia Wilde made Booksmart. She has a movie coming out called Don't Worry, Darling. It's her next project.
Yeah.
She apparently has a writing partner, or the person who writes the movies that she then does. So that's kind of cool. David Mackenzie.
Ooh, who's that?
Hell or High Water.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Outlaw King.
All right, yeah.
Yep. Drew Goddard.
Okay.
A lot of writing, not
Yes.
a lot of directing. I still have to see Cabin in the Woods, but Daredevil. He was the creator of Daredevil. He wrote The Martian. He made Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah.
This one I know is Cary Joji Fukunaga.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was on my list. Yeah.
Stephen Chbosky. Perks of Being a Wallflower and Wonder.
Okay.
Upcoming films. He's making a film version of the Broadway play Dear Evan Hansen.
I've never heard of that.
It won a bunch of Tonys the year after Hamilton.
Okay.
And he's making a Prince Charming movie, which is based on, I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't really care about that movie, but it's Dear Evan Hansen movie I'm excited about. That guy makes really heartfelt, really enjoyable movies. I love The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and Wonder was way better than I expected. Aaron Sorkin.
Yes.
Molly's Game. He wrote and directed. There were some Oscar nominations involved. The Trial of the Chicago 7. Have you seen the cast for this movie?
No.
Holy bejesus, my dude. Listen to this. Written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, starring. Okay, so it's about the story of 7 people on trial stemming from various charges surrounding the uprising of the 1968 Democratic National Convention. Starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Jeremy Strong from Succession, Eddie Redmayne, Michael Keaton, Sacha Baron Cohen, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Mark Rylance.
Ooh.
Crazy cast, my dude. Crazy.
Right.
You know that they're just going to be spitting that hot dialogue in that movie.
Oh yeah. 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 My only problem is that can Aaron Sorkin write political dialogue?
Yeah, I don't know. Phil Lord and Chris Miller would have been in my top 5 if they had directed Spider-Verse, but they wrote it. They didn't direct it.
Okay.
They did direct Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 and 22 Jump Street, and the Lego Movie.
I feel like they're almost too successful.
Yeah, they're close to that.
I feel like they're
but
too
it's a lot. It's yeah. That's another reason they weren't on.
And it's
there.
also like it's all. But I mean, if you had them on your list, I wouldn't have blamed you because that's like splitting hairs. Like, are they more successful than Alex Garland?
Yeah.
I mean, like
Deborah Chow. Deborah Chow's done a fuck ton of TV directing.
Okay.
Shows like Jessica Jones, Mr. Robot, Better Call Saul, American Gods. She had a movie called The High Cost of Living starring Zach Braff. She directed the two of the 3 best episodes of The Mandalorian.
Right.
Episode 3 and the penultimate episode.
Right.
She is being put in charge of the Obi-Wan series. She's going to be the showrunner on that show. And she has her own movie coming out called The Possibility of Fireflies. It's like a coming-of-age rock and roll movie. Seems cool. She's really good. Lulu Wang, The Farewell, and another movie called Posthumous.
Right.
Alma Harrell, Honey Boy. That's her only movie. Josh Boone, Stuck in Love, The Fault in Our Stars. The upcoming Bound to Be Bad, the New Mutants movie. If the New Mutants is bad, I don't blame Josh Boone. That movie's been cursed. It's been delayed like 6 times.
Yeah.
Movie's going to be bad, I bet.
Right.
But Josh Boone makes good stuff. And the decision to hire him to make that movie was a good one. Somebody who makes movies like The Fault in Our Stars and Stuck in Love is a good choice to make an X-Men movie about the kids, the young X-Men. Because that's what you should be going for in those movies.
Right.
John Watts, director of Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay.
Before that, he made a movie called Clown and a movie called Cop Car. Cop Car I watched the other day. It's good. Kevin Bacon's really funny. Jim Rash and Nat Faxon.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite movies, The Way Back. They wrote The Descendants and they won an Oscar for it.
Right.
They just came out with a movie called Downhill that didn't do super well.
And previous actors, like you would know them from Community.
Jim Rash.
You would know them from Beer Fest.
Dean.
Yeah.
They have an upcoming movie called The Heart that looks like it's gonna be good. James Gray, been around a long time. Didn't think I could put him all the way up, but I thought he deserved a shout out because, like, if you look at his directing works, he looked like he took a lot of time off, and now he's come back with The Lost City of Z and Ad Astra, which I loved. We've talked about. Tyler Nilsson and Michael Schwartz, The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Right.
And my last shout out was Ari Aster.
Okay.
just because I knew you'd have them.
Yeah, so I'll
anyone that I missed that are on yours.
Yeah, well, okay, so I mean, a majority of my honorable mentions, I think, were a lot of guys that like didn't really meet the criteria because they might be too successful.
Oh, I forgot.
Guys,
John Krasinski and Bradley Cooper. Sorry, more actors directing.
Fair. Yeah, fair. So, so you already brought up Ryan Coogler before. Cary Joji Fukunaga, right? Director of True Detective. Damien Chazelle
won an Oscar.
Won an Oscar.
Or nominated
so
for an Oscar.
Yeah,
and won an Oscar. Can't do it.
Yeah, can't do it. But he's made two things.
Young.
Yeah, young, made two things, and he has
only two: Whiplash and La La Land. That's it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Actually no. He's made the fucking space movie. I didn't watch it. That's why I forgot about it.
The space movie?
Yeah, the one with Ryan Gosling. First Man.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah,
I never saw it.
Yeah, I think we both just kind of.
It didn't have music involved, so we were like, "Get out of here, Damien."
Slipped under our radar.
Yeah,
dude.
that's weird.
Dude, we got.
I heard that movie was good.
We got to track it down.
Yeah.
Fucking Jordan
great.
Peele. Jordan Peele, like we brought him up earlier. Like once again, like kind of too successful.
Yep.
Barry Jenkins, director.
Yeah, too successful. Been nominated.
Yeah. One. I mean,
Moonlight won an Oscar.
Moonlight,
Yeah.
If Bill Street Could Talk.
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig.
Greta Gerwig is amazing and too successful.
Lady Bird and Little Women for Greta Gerwig. Denis Villeneuve. Another
way
one.
too successful.
Too successful. But also so
Blade Runner 2049
hasn't made a lot of stuff. So Blade Runner 2049, Sicario, and Arrival.
Upcoming Dune movie, which is a huge franchise project with a fuck ton of people in it.
I mean, so like all of those like fairly young people.
They fit the criteria of haven't done a lot of work and we're really excited for their future projects,
right.
But they are disqualified because of their critical success.
Yes, and like their career trajectory is like it's still on the upswing.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely, absolutely. Recap that top 5 for me.
All right,
or your top 7.
Yeah, so my pseudo top 5. 5B, I have Josh Trank, director of Chronicle.
Risky, man.
Upcoming Fonzo movie with Tom Hardy playing Al Capone. My 5A is the Safdie Brothers, directors of Uncut Gems. Bo Burnham, director of 8th Grade. Derek Cianfrance, plays Beyond the Pines. My 2B is Lee Winnell, director of Upgrade and The Invisible Man. Ari Aster is my 2A with Hereditary and Midsummer. And number 1, Alex Garland, director of Ex Machina. Enough said.
I wish I could have like bet money on your number 1 on this list.
I mean,
made a bunch of money.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure Vegas has.
We've been so obvious.
Podcast.
My top 5: Travis Knight, director of Kubo and the Two Strings and Bumblebee. Robert Eggers made The Witch and The Lighthouse. Nia DaCosta, director of The Little Woods and the upcoming Candyman. Josh and Benny Safdie, A Good Time in Uncut Gems. And Bo Burnham, 8th Grade. This has been fun. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, that was fun.
This is a cool experiment to do, and got me to watch a bunch of movies that I hadn't seen.
Same.
Cool. Like I said, next week we are going to be doing a Devs spoiler episode. I'm excited to watch it. I have high expectations. I'm hopeful. I've heard good things in and around. But luckily, everything is a mystery. I have no idea what it is. You know what I mean? I've heard people be like, Devs is so good. Can't wait for Devs. Is it a surprise how much I love Devs?
Yeah.
But nothing that is like
I don't want anything more than that.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, look for us online and on our socials, chrismichaelstott.com. You can find Chris's scripts, including the new one, Play Havoc, and Chris Michael Stott on Instagram. I am Davinwell25 on Twitter and Instagram. The Chris and Kyle Show is on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on all podcasting platforms. It's at TCAXPod on Twitter. Like, share, rate, review, all that's fun stuff. Stay safe. Keep watching good shit while you're locked inside. Wash your hands. All that, save the old people. Till next time, we out.
We out. Stay weird.